record on this computer. We are being recorded. Okay, so the final is, depending on your section, section 2 is Monday at 10:30. Section 1 is Friday at 10:30. I'm sorry, I had nothing to do with that, just to be completely upfront with that. The other thing is, I will be in class. There's no classes prior to the final, and so I'll probably be there around 9:30. And so if you want to come early, I'll be there early. You can take as much time. You won't need as much time as you think you'll need, but I will be there at 9:30. And if you want to show up early, get it done. If you can, if you don't have another final, you're welcome to come in early and start the final, okay? There will be a sign-in sheet, so you have to come to class, sign in on the sheet, and then you can start the final. The final is all online. It is just what the format is. I've got here 200 questions, random questions that I randomly selected from the test bank. I'll go over what they look like. So it's 200 questions. You're going to get 50 randomly selected. So it's 50 questions at 2 points each. Okay. So 50 questions, 2 points each for 100 points. And again, I will be using HonorLock. You're welcome to use your notes. So if you took good notes, you should have no problem with this, okay? Because I took everything based on, all the questions are coming out of the test bank, which is based on the PowerPoint, okay? So you can take up to 130 to take the assessment or to take the final. I don't think you'll need that. Any questions on the format? That is a no. Okay, so again, I will be there at 9:30 in the morning. The actual final doesn't start till 10:30, but if you want to show up early, you're more than welcome to. Okay, so let's start with chapter 1. I will just tell you, here's what you need to know. And if anybody has questions, I'm happy to answer those. So for chapter 1, you need to make sure you know all the resources, right? What are the 4 resources for every business? And what are those resources, right? Give examples. Like, what are the examples? This is a true, false, multiple choice question. So there is no writing, okay? But like an example, look at me, I'm giving example questions. Raw materials, buildings, and machineries are blank resources. So to fill in the blank resources, multiple choice. And so you just need to answer that. So you need to know there's multiple questions about resources, okay? Questions on that? Okay. There's also questions. Know the revenue. It's the relationship between sales and profits. There's a little guide. You also, by the way, folks, have the PowerPoint slides, which you can take notes of. You can't print the PowerPoint slides and bring those. You need to use your notes. But if you want to take notes off them, you can use that. The relationship between sales and profits, that relationship, okay? So you're going to need to know that. Know about stakeholders. What do they represent? Who are stakeholders? Okay, so you got to know that. Let's see. Know the business cycle. Okay, know the business cycle. Remember the business cycle? You've got the peak, you've got the recession, you've got the trough and the record. Know that. Okay, know that. Stages of the business cycle. More resource questions. Know about how the government makes money and provides services. Business cycle question again. Yeah, know the business classifications. What are the classifications of business? Okay. Know the classifications of businesses. You'll need to know that. And that's really about all the questions. There are, for chapter 1, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 12 questions potentially for chapter 1. Questions about chapter 1. Perfect. Moving on. Okay. Chapter 2 is about ethics. Okay. So know the definition of business ethics. The ethics piece is really, folks, is going to be common sense, right? So it's going to be common sense ethics, right? You should know right from wrong. And so there's a lot of multiple choice about ethical issues, different ethical issues a company may face, and it's going to be like an example is which is not an ethical issue a company may face. And so you need to know what typical ethical issues are. We talked about that. And so again, know about business ethics, know the definition, know a little bit about Sarbanes-Oxley, at least what was covered in chapter 2. Know about Sarbanes-Oxley. You potentially could get one question on that. What are the two views of social responsibility? Right? There's two models of social responsibility. Know those two models. And know the advantages and disadvantages of each. Factors that affect the level of ethical behavior. What are those factors? We talked about that. So if you have that in your notes, if not, it's in the PowerPoint. Yeah, again, the social responsibility models, there's a couple of questions on that. Yeah, know the definition of social responsibility. Yeah, go ahead. Question? Okay, we're good. Yeah, so know the definition of social responsibility. For chapter 2, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 possible questions for chapter 2. Okay. You good? Okay. Chapter 4. This chapter 4. So again, chapter 1 is general business. 2 is ethics and social responsibility. Chapter 4 is business ownership. So with that, you need to know advantages and disadvantages of all of the business ownership types. First of all, you need to know, give me one of the ownership types. Okay, perfect. So know the 4 ownership types. If you'd have said the wrong thing, I'd have probably corrected you. So again, know the 4 ownership types, know all of the advantages and disadvantages of those ownership types. Okay, that's a big one because they're all based on that. Know the characteristics of each of the ownership types. Characteristics of the different ownership types. Okay. The different partner relationships. No partner relationships. Answer this question. The form of business organization that accounts for almost 85% of all sales revenue is what?
Sole proprietorship.
Atta kid. There you go, Dominic. Okay, so yeah, sole proprietorship, right? That's easy. I'll give you another one. The form of business organization that comprises about 19% businesses in the United States. Oh, I'm sorry, we were wrong. I was wrong on that one. Why was that wrong, folks? Listen to this. Listen to the question again. The form of business organization that accounts for almost 85% of all sales revenue. Answer that one, Dominic.
I don't know, some type of corporation, I'd guess. I'm not okay.
Yeah. No, corporation.
Okay.
19% of all businesses would be corporation. Sorry, would be corporation. Remember, corporations have the fewest amount of companies, but the highest sales revenues. Okay, good job. What else? Know about stock. Know about the different types of stock. Know about the state in which it's easiest to incorporate and how you incorporate with different states. Okay. Know about types of corporations in each state. So if you're incorporated within a state that you're doing business, you're a certain type of corporation. If you're incorporated in one state doing business in another state, you're considered another type of corporation. Okay. So what are the different types of corporations? S Corp, C Corps, domestic corporation, foreign corporation, alien corporations. Know the difference between common stock and preferred stock. Okay, that's it for chapter 4. There's a lot of questions for chapter 4. That's when we kind of started getting into the meat. So for chapter 4, yep, keep going. There are 2, 5, 8, 10, 13, 17, 20, 23 questions around chapter 4. Does anybody have any individual questions about chapter 4? No? Okay, perfect. The next one is chapter 6. What was chapter 6 covering? Resources, right? Human resources. I didn't put too many in these because nobody really wants to do human resources, which is super disappointing to me. It hurts my heart, but I didn't put a lot of these in here. Goals, right? How are goals established? No SWOT analysis. There's a couple of questions on SWOT analysis. What does it mean? Management. Actually, I'm sorry. This is management. Sorry, chapter 6 was management, folks. My bad. And I didn't put, I only have 5, 10, 13 questions on management. So this is management. So here's the ones on management. No SWOT analysis. No goal setting for managers. No resources that managers use. Yeah, what are the different resources that managers have at their disposal? Examples of those. Employee training. No human resources management. What is it? Another word for human resources management. That one's a pretty easy question. No like what about the satisfaction surveys for management? Okay. For human resources. For chapter 9. So for chapter 6, I didn't have that many. Let me see what other ones I have for chapter 9. I think I only have like 3 questions for chapter 9. I just want to make sure. Because it wasn't that. Yep. 16, 16, 16. And it was earlier in the phase, so I wanted to make sure that you guys. So know the key personnel as well as possible successors. So know the replacement chart. Tools. So know the estimating of the supply of needed human resources, right? So 2 useful tools for estimating the supply of needed human resources are the 2 things we talked about. The skills inventory and the replacement chart. The development phase of human resources management consists of 2 important activities. Development and blank. Yeah, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 questions on HR. So it's not a big piece of the test. Questions on HR? No? Okay. Chapter 11 is it's marketing. Most of you are marketing majors, so let me see how many questions are involved with that. A lot. Yeah, quite a few, but they're all pretty basic. Yeah, here we go. So 8 functions. Marketing. Know the 8 functions. There's 8 of them. So know market segmentation. Know what the different markets are. What are the different markets? Here's a perfect example of a question. Within a market, individuals or firms that share one or more common characteristics is called a false, but market. If you get that, you know it. True. It's true, right? Target market. Know the different types of income. Different types of income. What are the different types of income? Know that. Know all about the utility. We talked about utility, right? Talked about utility. If I'm looking for a size 6 shoe in San Diego and they have a size 8 shoe in LA, does that take care of my utility, right? No. So know the utility. There's a chart. Know that. Example question. The utility created by transferring ownership of a product to a buyer is called blank utility. So just know the different types of utility when it comes to consumer buying behavior. Know the steps to implementing the marketing concept. Okay. Know what a market is. A question you may get. A market is a group of individuals, organizations that have needs for products in a given category and have the ability, willingness, and blank to purchase such products. Okay, that's it's the definition of a market. Let's see here. Yeah, just know that. So what are the 3 types of markets? Okay, what are the 3 types of markets? There's the consumer, business, and types of markets, but consumer, business, right? The nonprofit sector. Okay, those are the 4 types of markets. So know those because it's going to ask you, this group is part of this type of market. This group is part of this type of market. Those are the questions, some of the questions you're going to get. Okay. Know the marketing mix, folks. The marketing mix and market segmentation. No market segmentation. Lots of questions on the marketing mix. You will get that. I have 8 questions on the marketing mix. Now you're not going to get them all, but you can get 1 or 2. So know that. What are the ingredients of the marketing mix? Which is not a major factor in the marketing mix. Okay. More. Know a little bit about advertising, personal selling. We talked a little bit about that. Know the effects of economic. This is in chapter 11 as well. Know the effects of economic conditions and how they affect consumers' ability and willingness to buy. Questions in that. There's 3 questions. Again, know the different functions. There's 8 functions of marketing. Market segmentation. Okay. And then, yeah, know the different types of income. And that's chapter 11, really. The main things are marketing mix, market segmentation, how economy affects market, and then the eight exchange or factors of marketing, or the 8 functions of marketing. Okay, chapter 13. Chapter 13 is, I think there's 8 questions. So you may or may not get all these questions or one of these questions. So moving products from a producer to a wholesaler to a retailer. So know the flow, know the product flow. It was a chart where it was manufacturer to consumer, manufacturer to middleman to consumer. Know those, okay? So an example is moving products from producer to wholesaler to retailer to consumer is called the traditional channel because most consumer goods are sold this way. True or false? It's a question you're going to get, maybe. Okay. No supply chain, right? So know all the steps in the supply chain. Steps in the supply chain. And again, know the marketing channel. Know the supply channel. Know the steps in personal selling. Know the steps in personal selling. There's only one question on it, but you might get that question. It literally is. The first step in personal selling is question. Negotiations. Is that it? True or false? Steps. Distribution, yeah, distribution channels. Distribution channels. How do wholesalers and manufacturers work? So know a little bit about wholesalers. Wholesalers help manufacturers. There was 5 or 6 different ways that wholesalers can help manufacturers. Know those. Know those. Know the largest retailers. Know the list of the retailers. Biggest. Who's the biggest retailer?
Amazon.
That kid, Tucker. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, so that's a question you may get. Now you got the answer. Okay, that is chapter 13. On chapter 13.
Sorry, what was the topic of chapter 13 again?
Distribution and supply chain.
Thank you.
Personal selling. Yeah. Okay. Last but not least, chapter 15 and 16. Know everything about accounting. Let's see here. Know the difference between data and information. Difference between data and information. The purpose of an audit. Know the other name for a debt owed by a business are called blank. There's going to be one question, actually a couple of questions. Know the accounting equation. Know everything that's on a balance sheet. Know everything that's on an income statement. So know those 2 equations. The accounting equation. Notes. If you took notes, or you're in accounting class right now. What's the accounting equation? Nobody? Bueller? Nobody? Rusty? The accounting equation. Oh, Rusty knows. Come on now. Even Rusty knows. wants to venture? Okay, know the accounting equation. Right, Russ? He knows. Know the balance sheet. A lot of questions on the balance sheet. Here's a good question you might get. The ease with which an asset can be converted into cash is referred to as its blank. I'll know about that. There's 3 or 4 questions about that. What that topic is. Know about debts. A couple of questions on debts. We're still in chapter 15. Chapter 15 is all about data versus information and accounting. And primarily the accounting equation, the income statement equation, and financial statements. Okay. Here's a perfect example. A blank is a summary of a firm's revenues and expenses during a specific accounting period, such as a year. Know what that is? What is an income statement? What is a balance sheet? Okay, that's chapter 15. Last but not least, chapter 16. Know about term and long-term financing. Okay. Know what equity is. Debt and leverage is. Know the different types of markets. What are the different types of markets? Market and a closed market, right? So we have stock market, the NASDAQ, the NYSE. Are they open or closed?
Open.
They are, Tucker. Thank you very much. Know the ownership, the different corporate ownership. There's one question. The most basic form of ownership in a corporation is blank. Know again the different types of stocks. What's the difference between common stock and preferred stock? What are the advantages of common stock, or what makes it common stock? What makes it preferred stock? What rights do you have as common stock? What do you get with preferred stock? Okay. Know about, again, short-term and long-term financing. Know the advantages, different disadvantages. Know expensive form of short-term financing is blank. The highest form is blank. When are they used? When is long-term financing used and when is short-term financing used? There's different times when you would use short-term financing. There's different times when you would use long-term financing, right? Know those. Okay, what is the definition of short-term? Come on, give it to me. What's the definition of short-term financing? Short-term financing, money. Money. Know those two. Know the difference. Definition. Know the risk-return ratio. The risk-return ratio says. Priorities of someone interested in careers in finance. What's the most important priority for someone who's interested in careers in finance? Okay, know that. Know the budgeting process. What's the steps of building a budget? What debt capital is? Here's a good question. True, false. Selling a firm's unneeded assets, right? How are the ways? What are the ways that we can obtain money as a company? One way is potentially to sell assets. So, selling a firm's unneeded assets is a reasonable last resort when neither equity capital nor debt capital can be obtained. True or false? It's true or false question. So no, what are the ways? Chapter 16 is all about financing. How do we get money as a company? So know that. Right, all the activities concerned with obtaining money and using it effectively are called what? Money that will be used for 1 year or less is called what? Borrowed money that will be used for more than 1 year is called what? I think there's 15 questions on chapter 16. That's it. Any questions? If you took good notes, you should do fine. Again, you can't use the textbook. You can use your notes. You can't print the PowerPoint slides, but I would take notes out of the PowerPoint slides because that's where these came from. So take those notes. If you didn't take notes during lecture, again, you're going to come in. You can be there as early as 9:30. I'll be sitting in there. So if you want to come in and get it done early, particularly these folks on Friday, you folks on Friday, get out a little bit early, come in. It shouldn't really take you more than an hour, max an hour, I'm thinking, for this test. Okay? Look through your notes. What I like to do is write down things, and if I wrote them down enough times, it would just be in my memory. So don't worry about that. Come in, you're going to sign in for the exam, and then again, Honor Lock is on. I'd use Honor Lock, and then it's 50 questions, 2 points each. Multiple choice, true, false. Fill in the blank. It'll give you but yeah, it's multiple choice, true, false, basically. Couple of paragraphs you might have to read. You don't need a calculator. There's no accounting work to be done. So, questions?
Was it chapter 4? Was chapter 4? I came in a little bit late, and I just wasn't sure if I missed anything before chapter 4, or was that the first one that you mentioned?
No. Chapter 1 and chapter 2.
Okay.
So it's
all right.
And again, you can watch the first part of the video, and it'll explain all the stuff that's on chapter 1 and chapter 2. Chapter 1 is general business and economics. Chapter 2 is social responsibility and ethics.
Okay, thank you so much.
Almost. Other questions? Then I shall stop recording.